Hey, welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about the football game and maybe my daughter's birthday and a little bit all in one. Today, I didn't even realize that Alabama was playing Georgia. And, I did, but I forgot because I went to sleep. But I was working night shift and I was yelling at the guy close to me, about 20 feet because he was in his position. So I said, "Hey man, who you think's gonna win?" He said, "Alabama." I said, "I think Georgia's gonna win, because Georgia's 12-0 and Alabama lost one." So I said, I was just going by that, you know. But spoiler alert. Well, you probably already know the score of what happened. I didn't watch the whole game, but I had a lot going on today. So I went by a campground, and I picked up my son to take him to work, and they had one of the people that stay at the campground had a TV, a flat screen TV outside with chairs and everything, and they have like a little setup where they can watch stuff outside. And she was watching the game, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And I couldn't see what the score was, because I had to take my son to work, and then my daughter was with me, and my grandbaby, my wife, and then we went to Longhorns, take her out for her 22nd birthday. We celebrated it today. So we was there, ordered our food, and we're waiting for everything. And, we happened to sit at a booth, and sure enough, they were playing the game. And I said, "Oh, man." So, during the slow times, I'd look up, see the game. And when I first seen the game, I don't remember what half it was, but it was 17-17. And I said, "Wow, this is a good game," because I did remember about 4:30 this morning, Saturday morning, the December the 4th, I remembered to record the game. And I said, "Oh man, I'm gonna record it." I have YouTube television, so it's pretty cool. It's like cable, but about 80 something dollars, and you get all the channels, and DVRs last about 9 months, your shows, and it's pretty cool, and so but anyway, I don't have to watch it now unless I wanted to. But I was watching it and I looked up and Georgia hiked the ball, and um, the guy, when he hiked the ball to the quarterback, it hit the guy in the face in his helmet. I was like, "What in the world's going on?" I guess, this was for the SEC championship. So who wins this game is going to play for the national championship. And I wasn't really interested in it at first because, I love the Clemson Tigers. I've liked them all the way since the 80s. And the reason, people always used to call me a redhead. And at the time, I thought it was offensive. I said I'm an orange head. And Clemson had orange colors. Carolina had red. So guess who I I picked. And I thought a tiger was better than a chicken. And plus, Clemson played them and beat them like 30-0 this year. They beat them 7 years straight. So, go figure. But the football is not the only reason. But anyway, I thought that was funny. But I looked up and it was like 17-17. And then next thing you know, I looked up and it was like 30-something-17. And I noticed they did some replays and it showed the guy hitting, I guess they fumbled it during that time, or it lost the drive, and then Georgia was able to pick it up, run it for a touchdown that time, and then the quarterback was pretty on point. I mean, he only had like a little window. You can see the little bitty characters running, like this is a man and this is a man, and the football flies by this, and this guy catches it somehow, and real tight coverage. It's extreme, good defense from Alabama. They pretty much shut them down, but Alabama intercepted the ball, and then they made another touchdown. So they were like 2 ahead. And then finally in the fourth quarter, Georgia come back, they scored a touchdown, but, they only had like 8 minutes to go. So, they're not going to be able to get like 25-41, I think, at that time, favor Alabama. But I was like, man, I was kind of pulling for Georgia because, Clemson played Alabama for 2 or 3 years and didn't want Alabama to win. I said, well, let's Georgia win because they beat Clemson. I said, well, they beat Clemson, and they deserve a shot at the title. But they almost had it. They probably some simple mistakes. They probably got nervous, being in that big old environment. The whole stadium was packed, and that's kind of a rare thing. It's starting to kind of get back the way things used to be, so everything's kind of moving fast. So, it just, things are changing. But I was like, man, Alabama won again. Good gracious. They still got the coach, whatever he does. Now, I heard just from people that somehow they always get the first pick of the new recruits, before the other colleges. So, I don't know if it's a money thing, but if you can pick the best talent, you got the best eggs, who's going to have the best cake? And then you got a coach that's been there forever, they mold the talent. So you got a good chef and some good eggs, you're going to have some good eggs and a good cake. But you got the other guys, and then some of the guys have had, I've heard teams having ego issues, and like Clemson had team members transfer after the season. They didn't even wait the whole season. They transferred schools and everything. And I was like, and then they'll recruit players during the season, and maybe I'm just naive, but I was like, it's kind of new. And I heard, I'm not 100% sure, I heard they're even getting paid now to play, which, they used not. So it's kind of like, what do you call it? Like pre-NFL sort of. But, you're going to school, and I guess NFL, you just learn plays and work out, eat healthy, try to make sure you're healthy. And some of them tumbles them guys does, man, I don't know. I turned 50 this year, and I went to the doctor, and I have like a little hairline crack in my foot. So my left foot, but it don't hurt unless I try to, I told a guy I was trying to do ballet. He laughed at me, but I'm not doing ballet. But if I kind of step to the side like this, then it'll hurt. But walking forward, back, kind of turn, then it's getting better. And I'm going to go get an x-ray to see if it's, and I've started drinking milk. So as you get older, remember, you got to have about 1,200 milligrams of calcium. And I was only getting about 800. And if you drink sodas or anything like that, it can pull the calcium out of you. So that could be something. Because, I lost a little bit of weight. And then I can't hardly walk. But my right foot is the one that hurts. But it's not cracked. Go figure. But it did about a year ago. So I guess it's a calcium deficiency. One person told me to take vitamin D3, I think. And that helps you absorb the calcium. So, if you have terrible nutrition, then you gotta take vitamins, to supplement your bad choices of nutrition, or what you can't eat. But anyway, sorry for rambling on. But Georgia, man, they should have had it. But maybe next year. I don't know who's graduating or anything. But it was kind of cool. I got to do multitask. I got to spend time with my daughter for her birthday. And then I got to watch the game, so I didn't have to watch it. So I had time to make this video. And I've always, even in high school, I used to, it's a thing for the kids, or anybody who might learn from it. When I was in, I played football, and I went to a boarding school for 5 years. So when I played football, I had to catch a ride from some of the other students that I played with, because we were a 2A, or maybe we was a 1A, because we only had the whole thing. There's only 40 seniors in my class, and we was one of the biggest classes. Now they've merged with Walhalla, so they're a lot bigger school. They have kids from all over the place. But It was Tomasi Salem Eagles, a little bitty school, and we went to play for Walhalla. So there was two of us and three of us at one time. And after school, we'd go all the way to Walhalla, like 13 miles away, and do our stretching and our practice, and then we go during game day, after school. So that was a pretty tight schedule, but it was fun. And then they wouldn't let me play my senior year because my grades dropped, so I had to start working on that. I got a little job, maybe quit that, but I did graduate. Woo! So stay in school, graduate, then you're done with it. Then you can do the real fun stuff. Get a job, start earning money, save your money. Don't forget to invest. I know some people don't think about crypto. I could be wrong. Warren Buffett hates crypto, but I did start two things. Right now I'm in BlockFi, and that's just crypto only, and it's holding about the same. I think I bought $50 of Bitcoin, $50 of Ethereum, and I put it in an interest account, and it earns like 11 cents, but it was valued at 100. It went up to 103, then down to 90 something. But that's all I put in there, just kind of seeing what they do about November the 20th. And I think it's worth $94, and I made like 12 cents. Just nothing really to brag about. Now, Gemini is kind of an easier platform, and I might not be right. You can look this up. But I believe it was started by the twins that had a controversy when Facebook started. And they got $65 million from Mark Zuckerberg's business, Facebook, because they helped him with whatever they was doing at, I guess, Harvard, from the movie. And I might be wrong on that, but I think that's what I read. So, let me know if I'm wrong. But the two twins, they got $65 million, and they invested heavily in crypto, because a lot of people were scared, and if you can't use it, and then, you got this much, and then you try to buy something, and then the next day it's really expensive. So, you got to really, inflation. Hopefully the technology's there, but, I don't know. I didn't buy much. I bought, Gemini, I bought $88, and I made 9 cents from November to 26th. That on the future videos, I'll have a link for that one. So I think we'll, if you buy it and buy so much, we'll both get something. And I got a link in my description for BlockFi. BlockFi seems cool. Gemini so far hadn't been hacked. You probably won't make as much money as some of the other ones, but it's supposed to be safer. They might get hacked after making this video, so who knows. They say crypto is kind of like gambling or the fool's buy. So, this guy buys it, and then he talks about it, and then there's like thousands of crypto, but you only want to really mess with probably the top 5 or maybe the top 3. Some people say the top 10, but they're all like this, and the only way you're really going to do anything, you got to buy low and get it high, and then hopefully be able to sell high. But then I Trust Capital is also one. I'm trying to learn more about that. You can buy crypto, but you won't be able to use it. It's an IRA, like a Roth IRA. So the good thing about a Roth IRA, once you buy it, say you put $6,000, and when you hit 50, you can put 7. I don't know if you want to put all that in crypto, but you put it in there and say it makes 60 grand or 200, 500,000, just who knows. It might not go that much. At S&P, you might get 120 in 20 years, but you can't touch it till you're 59.5. So it's something you don't want to really put in there unless you can save. But with crypto, you could trade inside that account and get the losses if you knew what you was doing. But it's gambling, but it's after tax money. But if you put that money in there as of right now, and I'm not a financial expert, I'm just some guy on YouTube that's learning as I go and kind of seeing a neat perspective on things and watching these other guys and trying to learn. And some of the stuff I have no clue what they're talking about, but they're talking about it should eventually go because everything's supposed to be permanent. But as it gets more popular, it probably will get more regulated. And who knows, with Bitcoin, it's 18.5 million. That's already mined, and 21 million is the possible. But so when all the Bitcoin's mined, if you can't do anything with it, then I don't see people keeping it. Who knows? I mean, I remember seeing a TV show where there was a guy that was selling pieces of the moon, and at that time, there was no way to get up to the moon to stand on that piece. And somehow this guy in America was selling all this property of the moon to people on Earth, and they just, I guess it was kind of like buying somebody's art that they just drew a picture of the moon, a section of it, and they paid a lot of money for an ownership title. But, it's not really the moon, it's just kind of like a piece of pie. So he sold a piece of pie on a paper for a lot of money, and people bought it, and now they have an official claim to that part of the moon. But, Elon Musk puts a rocket up there. How you going to tell him not to park on it? You're not, you don't have any, hey, Elon, you got to move your rocket. I own this piece of the moon. We got to pay rent while we're here. It's crazy. So Bitcoin's kind of like that, but there's a lot of things. Even with AMC and everybody was getting all this stock, it messed up this stock because there was, the buy and hold and shorting the stock and all that. And then you have all the, I seen on TikTok, even a bunch of senators, congressmen, they own a bunch of stock. And some of the stock they own is some of the organizations that are over there buying the stock, so that's kind of like inside trading, which is probably might be legal, but it's kind of ethical or unethical. So who knows? But it's interesting because the whole thing about finance and investing, you work so long, and most of the economy is made up of where people, they buy things. So you buy, and this guy makes this product you want, and you keep buying it. You pay for the greatest Apple phone, $1,400 brand new, and then you're still paying on it for 3 years, and the Apple phone next one comes out. So it's kind of like trading in a used car for a brand new car. So they add that price on top. Now you have a $2,000 phone. So you got the latest and greatest, but it's just a phone, and some of the cameras aren't even that much better. I mean, a little bit better. But a lot of them still have the 12 megapixel camera. The Tesla phone, it has a thing where it can kind of light up a dark space. So I guess this spot behind me, this shadow would kind of be lit up, and if I had the right mode on. But it's just cool with all this stuff. And then I was watching YouTube tonight. Appreciate you listening to me ramble on, but I just wanted to share all this stuff that's kind of going on in my mind. YouTube has a video, Elon Musk is talking about a robot. Now you could tell it was a person dressed all in white, and from about chest up, it was black. And they were dancing and all this, but they were talking about Elon Musk making humanoid robots, that would integrate with Tesla. So I guess it'd be cool. Nobody wants to see self-driving cars, so you could put a robot in there in the seat, kind of like that movie with, I think it was Bruce Willis with The Fifth Element, where they had, or it might have been a hologram, and the guy was driving the car around, and he got in it, and it was a hologram looking at him, or instead of a person. So it kind of made it more familiar, humanoid, because people weren't ready to be driving around in a car that's driving by itself, because Not too long ago, we would have said that was paranormal instead of artificial intelligence. Woo! But it's so cool. It's so cool with all this stuff going on. And then I seen another thing where, man, they're talking about solar panels. This guy was showing an invention of solar panels, but they were clear. So they absorbed the light, the ultraviolet light, and let the other light pass through. And they said instead of having solar panels on the roof, you could have the whole building wired up with this glass, and it would capture the sun on all the glass in the building and create electricity. So we have a lot of stuff. And back to Bitcoin, I think it's the Kevin, Mr. Smiley, that's on Shark Tank. He was talking about, I believe it's him, that eventually what people are shying away, Bitcoin was mined with energy that was produced by coal, which they call it kind of blood money or fossil fuels, instead of having more pure energy mining Bitcoin. And they said that the ones that aren't necessarily using the fossil fuels, that are mined without fossil fuels, would be more pure, and somehow Bitcoin would have different statuses. You would have the bad Bitcoin that would not be worth as much, and the ones that were mined with pure energy or cleaner energy would be worth more. So, if you mine all the Bitcoins for it to still be a great asset, you're going to have to be able to use it somewhere. Some people are going to have to accept it, or you're going to have to start changing it, like subroutines, or like that. Some Bitcoin say, oh, all this Bitcoin you have, it was mined by coal, and this Bitcoin come from solar energy or wind power, so it's worth more. And so then you're gonna have a different type of Bitcoin. They'll have to split it up to keep it going. We'll see. Warren Buffett thinks eventually, it's gonna crash and it's not gonna be worth anything. So who knows? I mean, it was like $65,000 not too long ago. Then it went down to 40,000. I mean, $25,000 drop, and now it's like 42,000. And it changes. You hit the little refresh button on your internet browser, and it just changes by the second. So it's insane. A lot of people believe in it. One bad thing that Bitcoin has a bad rap is they say it's used for a lot of criminal transactions, but there's a lot of things where it's so hard to wire money to different countries. It costs, maybe $35. I don't know exact price, but then you have the currency exchange. So money's, the minority mindset. I was watching him, and he said he wanted to pay some people in Canada to help him with his channel, and he paid him in US dollars, but then he tried to get it to Canada dollars, and then he couldn't get his money back, and then he had to do it again, and the hassle it took just to get payment to them, and using cryptocurrency cut all that out, and they were able to pay him like they should. So for him, using crypto would be a more effective way to make a payment than going through all the loopholes of trying to transfer money and a certain amount, and going through wire transfers and different types of currencies in the world, when, Bitcoin to Bitcoin, the same currency, no matter how it's fluctuating, but it's still bit to bit instead of cash to the Canadian dollar, But thank you for listening to me ramble on. I guess football and all that stuff in my head, thinking about everything, and the holidays, and the Indian, my little buddy back there, he's staring off, thinking about, crypto. Sounds interesting. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, smash that like button like you're smashing a baked potato, and share it. And who knows? I might This might be some crazy predictions of the future and say, hey, he was right on. Or the people I was listening to were right on. Stay cool.